guys, it's Amity on here, and today I'm back again with another video, of course, yeah. Anyway, today we're watching 15 creepiest true stories ever told, and if you want to watch the original video, it'll be down in the description. I'll leave a link, and yeah, let's just get to it. Alright, let's do this. Wait, there's nothing there. God.
Danger Dolan. From intruders in the home living there for months without your knowledge to aliens that rock back and forth on your front porch, we count 15 frightening true stories from the folks over at Reddit. A link to the full set of stories is in the description box below.
Number 15.
A story from Bon Max Bon Rock about a girl asked to babysit some kids. She sent them to bed around 9 PM and went off to do her own thing, watching TV and getting some homework done.
Okay.
From inside the basement, she heard rustling and pans falling over. Instead of going down to check, she phones the police and informs them there might be someone down there. Instead of a single patrolman turning up at the house, an entire SWAT team breaks in and searches the basement, only to find a man who happened to be wanted for multiple cases of rape in the area, citing they heard someone listening in on her phone call. Suffice to say, she was glad not to have personally inspected the basement all alone.
Number 14.
A story from Descendant about this father going through a divorce, and in the meantime he stays with his own mother, who claims the house is haunted by the shadow of a girl walking room to room. Since he and his wife share custody of his daughter, on some nights she stays with her mother and others her father. One particular week in the middle of the night, the father is on the computer. Out of the corner of his eye, he catches his daughter sneaking into the kitchen, where she stops dead and stares at him for a few minutes. But he doesn't look at her, since he figured she would just go back to bed, which she did. And when he checked on her a while later, he realized with a sick feeling in his gut that her bed was empty. She had been staying at her mother's that week.
Number 13.
A story from Lumos the Nox. This one father has a son aged about 4 or 5 called Hunter. When he gets bad dreams, he'll climb into his parents' bed. One particular night, the father hears his son calling from the next room, only he doesn't say dad, he calls him by his full name. When the father goes to check on Hunter, asking what's up, he finds Hunter asleep, and when roused, Hunter merely mentions, "Dad, when they call you, you're not supposed to answer." The next morning, Hunter doesn't remember anything that happened.
Number 12.
That's a bit weird.
So Reddit user Big Soul 81 claims that when he was a kid, he'd be flicking through his old television antenna trying to get a signal. One day at around 2 AM, he found one with a strange rhythmic crackling sound that went for a while before cutting itself dead. Instead, a voice crops up to whisper, "It doesn't work. We're already dead. We are already dead." It took a few seconds for the words to hit him, but when it did, it freaked him out. And though he claims it might have just been someone messing around with a transmitter somewhere else, it still scared the living shit out of him.
Number 11.
Spectre, Alabama. A person vacationing in Ithaca with the boyfriend. They stopped near an old suspension bridge to take photos when a woman appeared. She offered to take a photo, but they politely declined. The woman smiled and kept walking straight off the bridge and onto the pavement far below. There wasn't even a moment of hesitation, almost as if they had no idea the path ended there before plummeting to their doom. It's also possible she felt so embarrassed about getting rejected with the photo taking that she decided to kill herself.
Number 10.
A story from Crank Loza, a night shift worker who had a shattering of glass at his business, a rock someone might have thrown near midnight with no other nearby businesses open that time of night. He finished work and left in his car, nervous that he hadn't caught the vandal yet. He realized he hadn't locked the car, so he did a quick backseat hand sweep to make sure nobody was there. After he arrived home, he pulled out his bike to head to his friend's place when he heard someone cycling behind him. He stopped and saw a crazy smiling man ride past on his mum's bike. He heads back home to find the bike gone and his backside car door wide open.
Number 9.
A story from SMPX, a net cafe in Taiwan where the elevator conveniently forgets to include a 4th floor for superstitious reasons. One man entered the elevator to visit the 6th floor net cafe, only for it to stop on a mysterious numberless door. Pitch black when the doors opened, random pieces of furniture strewn here and there, and in the distance a figure starts moving towards him dressed in a white gown. The light goes off in the elevator, he shits his pants, the doors close, and it resumes the journey to floor number 6. He consulted the cashier, who claimed the 4th floor used to be a hairdressing salon before a series of accidents and unexplainable events. The elevators were programmed never to visit the fourth floor, but on occasion it would, and others confirmed they'd seen the same robed figure approaching them on this mysterious floor.
Well, that's creepy
Number
as fuck.
A story from Walden Swirl, a 15-year-old kid sleeping in his loft bed at a mobile home in South California. The screen from his windowsill falls off and he thinks nothing of it. But then a tattooed hand reaches through to feel around the bedroom floor.
Okay.
This kid jumps out of bed and pulls a knife out, screaming to get the hell out of his room. His dad shows up, but the tattooed man vanishes into the night. It was later revealed that the intruder had been living under their mobile home for quite some time. His own sleeping bag, water, extra clothes, and a hatchet, evidently plotting his intrusion for a while, the family unaware how close they came to getting hacked up in the night.
Number 7.
A
Damn.
story from Pseudo Nom, a rundown house in a strange neighborhood. This kid finds a child's drawing underneath the stairs in the laundry room. Family of 5 with the caption, "Our new home." People who stayed at their house reported a kid's voice behind them shouting "Rah!" to try and scare them, but when they turned around, nobody was there. One time, his whole family were getting ready to leave the house, but when his brother asked if he could take a Pepsi from the fridge, a child's voice clearly screamed "No" directly from the basement. No one in his family investigated, they just bolted from the house.
That's
Number
mad.
6.
A story from Kamajo8991. A woman sleeping inside a house with a baby son ran about 2 a.m. when she, with her back to the door, heard someone enter her bedroom. The intruder shouted, "Are you in here?" All she could do was see the intruder's reflection in the window glass, paralyzed with fear. Then he shouted, "Fine, whatever," and slammed the door shut. She phoned the police, and after they turned up, they asked her the frightening question, "Who's been living in your basement?" They found sleeping equipment and other stuff, but they couldn't tell when or for how long the intruder had lived there with her.
Number 5.
Whoa, wait a
A
second.
story from Pajama.
Guys, could you imagine that? Could you imagine, like, someone living underneath, like, your house or apartment or mobile, wherever you live? That'd be so creepy. Just like someone ready to intrude you. Anyway, let's get back to this.
A shadow that seems to follow this one guy. It first appears as hot static in the room, followed by a smell of cat piss, and finally, a black shape in the corner of his bedroom staring up at him. He falls asleep the next night and hears a metal squeak noise, only to wake up and find a chair next to his bed, as if someone had been watching him all night. One night when he went out for a smoke, he heard footsteps and a black shadow approach him, to which he pulled out a knife and watched it vanish. Eventually, he screamed for it to go away, and it did. When he talked to his brother about it, he confirmed that he too had been visited by the shadow, which paralyzed him with a stare.
Number
The
4.
shadow.
Lady Smiley has a story about a girl living with her grandmother and auntie when they heard strange noises coming from inside the walls at night. Figuring there might be rats, her grandma moved some furniture that had come with the building, only to find a suspicious piece of plywood which, when torn off, revealed a tiny child-sized door.
Oh.
Inside the door was a hallway, and at the end of the hallway, a room filled with dust and a single chair in the center. All along the wall were 3-fingered gouge marks, as if a monster had torn
Secret
the place
wall.
up,
Secret
and the
wall.
marks were fresh, no dust on them at all. They resealed the door and never went back inside.
I'm not
Number
surprised.
3.
Gibsonton has a story about a friend who lived by herself while attending college, came home one day to find clothes were out of place, papers and things she couldn't even recognize in the room. She called the police, who turned up to reveal nobody was there, but looking through her computer they found hundreds of love letters all addressed to her. Each letter ended with the same words, "If you don't believe me, just look under your bed." She did, only to find hundreds of used condoms. They can never find out who it was, but they always assumed it was a
What?
maintenance worker with spare keys that might have entered her apartment at night or when she was away.
Number
But why
2.
condoms?
Kraken with a story about a man waiting for his wife one night on the weekend, washing dishes when the motion sensor light on the back patio lit up. He grabbed the knife and peeked through the curtains on his door to see a grey creature squatting on the ground just out of light's reach, rocking back and forth. And as he stared at it, the creature stood up fully. What he saw on the creature's face made him jump back in terror. Giant red eyes too big for its face, featureless and expressionless, one of those grey alien creatures. It approached the door, the man screamed at it, the lights went off, and the creature vanished. He scoped out the backyard, but he never saw it again.
Number 1.
So this is a story my own dad once told me about a house we used to live in. He kept it to himself for a long time because he didn't want to scare my mum into making us move house. So back when my sister was about 7 years old, she would sleep in my parents' bed, but one night my dad woke up in the middle of the night to see something strange. He saw a girl that looked similar to my sister, a bit younger than her, standing next to my mother's sleeping body, staring down at her looking extremely sad. My dad called her name, but she didn't respond, and that's when my dad realized it wasn't her, it wasn't my sister. She ran out of the room, he gave chase, but she vanished into the hallways. He checked on my sister, but she was still asleep. He swore to his dying day that she looked exactly like another daughter of his might look, staring down at my mother for who knows what reason. That's it for this countdown, and have a good one!
Oh, that is crazy, guys. Well, guys, that is 15 creepiest true stories ever told. Please like, subscribe, and comment, and as I said at the start of the video, link in the description if you want to see the original video, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.